So, Commissioner Cotton, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Dany Cotton. I'm the Commissioner of the London Fire Brigade.
In numbers, could you please tell more about London Fire Brigade?
So London covers an area of 606 square miles. We have about 8.8 million people that we look after. I have 103 fire stations. I have 4,800 operational staff. In total I have just over 5,300 staff. I have 100 of my staff who answer call handling, answer control calls. We have about 120,000 fire calls a year, of which about 20,000 are actual primary fires. The current stats we have are 7% of my operational workforce are women and 13% of them are from black and minority ethnic communities.
So you have diversity in your personnel?
Yes, but nowhere near enough. We've got, we're making good steps. The latest recruitment round we've just finished, 13% of the applicants were women, so that's a 30% increase on previously, but not enough. I want, London Fire Brigade to look like the people of London. 52% of the population of London are women. I'd like to get us far more women involved in London Fire Brigade.
You have been the commissioner for 18 months now. Could you describe your...
It's been the craziest 18 months. When I started the job in January 2017, there were lots of issues with the government about money and funding for different specialist teams that I'm the national lead for to do with CBRN. So I spent quite a few months dealing with mass decon and issues around that. And then London faced a number of terrorist attacks. That was very challenging. We had the attack at Westminster and London Bridge and Borough Market, Parsons Green. We had someone deliberately run over outside a mosque in Finsbury Park, and that was really difficult because it's a different face of terror than we've seen before. It's all taking place with very simple things like, vehicles and knives. It's not the terror threat that we thought we would be facing. So it's very difficult to respond when anybody can go and hire a van, anybody can buy a knife. It's about making sure we're ready. And then, of course, in the middle of last year, 14th of June, was the terrible fire at Grenfell Tower. The biggest high-rise fire that any of us have ever seen, a building fully engulfed in flames, and something that I don't think any of us could ever prepare for.
You have been 18 months the first female fire commissioner. Can you tell us more about your career and how you ended up being the first one?
So I joined London Fire Brigade in 1988. I was aged 18, and when I joined I was one of 30 women out of 9,000 firefighters. So we were just so few and far between. I never saw another woman at work. It was very difficult and challenging because a lot of the men didn't want women to be firefighters. I think that they thought that if women were firefighters, it somewhat downgraded the macho role and the heroic role of a firefighter. But I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Firefighting is a great job and women make great firefighters, and I've come up through the ranks. It took me nearly 30 years to be commissioner. I was the first commissioner in London's 151-year history, so that's quite amazing. I think that it's really great opportunity. It wasn't something I set out to do. I never intended to be a commissioner, but the circumstances came up. The previous commissioner was retiring, and I knew that if I didn't apply for it, that I might have ended up working for somebody who I didn't particularly like and who, more importantly, I thought would do damage to London Fire Brigade. And I really wanted to change a lot about London Fire Brigade, a lot about the culture, a lot about the diversity, but most importantly about how we care for our people, and that's my main priority.
What are the hot topics in London Fire Brigade?
So operationally, definitely our hot topics are about planning for responding to terrorism. There's also obviously the inquiry into the Grenfell Tower fire and what lessons there might be learned from that. We have an internal team who are working on that, who are doing a timeline and actually planning minute by minute, second by second, the events that happened. And where we find things that need to change, we won't wait for the outcome, we'll learn them now. And then on a backdrop of that, there is a journey for cultural change. A lot of a journey for me about changing the way London firefighters, are in the community. I want to open the doors of fire stations and make them community spaces so people can come in and feel safe to come into a fire station. We have a great cadet programme for young people, and the people that join in the local boroughs look like the future of the London Fire Brigade. They're a very diverse bunch. There are lots of young girls, lots of people from different black and minority ethnic backgrounds, and I want London Fire Brigade to look like that.
What kind of message do you want to send for women in fire and rescue services?
So I think the main message I want to send is women make great firefighters, they make great officers and great leaders, and I think that we need to be more courageous, we need to believe in ourselves, we need to make sure we're supporting other women, and think we need to make sure that when there's a job comes up, that don't think you've got to wait till you're ready, because you'll never feel confident and ready, but go for it, because actually the worst that can happen is that you might make a mistake and fail, but we all learn from our mistakes and none of us will ever be perfect. So my main thing I want to say is, believe in yourself and support other people.
Sounds interesting, and thank you for your interview.
Thank you.